Right, I'm starting to get a lot of questions about the Apple CarPlay thing that you can attach to this. It's not so much attached to as take the entire thing apart, strip it down to its component parts, plug things in, and add a load of stuff on the dashboard. But the problem I've got is the whole thing costs like 500 quid. You got import charges and all that crap, and it's just not a good stereo. The other thing is, for the price that it costs to buy, you might as well just get a new stereo. This is crap. So what I'm going to do is probably breaking my fingernails off trying to get this stereo out. I'm just going to take these, there's two screws there. I'll take the screen out because most of the stuff you get is put inside the screen. Alright, screws out. Fascia lead out. Disconnect all of these. Power connector. Yeah. Don't do all one-handed. GPS. Something. Drop the screen. Taking the house, it's far too cold out there, but it's all cold and fucking miserable out there. So we'll take it indoors. Right, this little board here, and all of this crap that comes in this box. There's quite a lot of wires and connectors and stuff. It's supposed to turn your standard R-Link 453 head unit into one that supports Apple CarPlay. Now, I bought this from CarPlay.fr and it was 500 quid. Now, I'm telling you now, it's not worth it. Just go and get a Pioneer something or other that does it instead. Because this is just cheap Chinese shit that's just being sold for too much. He had one video which was shit because it was actually reversed image. How fucking helpful is that? I'm looking at it and it just didn't make any sense because he was working on it like this and he was taking that one apart, but then I realised that was actually over that side and he was actually undoing that side. I think, well, that's no fucking good, is it? So I contacted him and said, look, I'm going to need a PDF, some sort of instructions. So he sent me instructions and they are grade A dog shit. It's embarrassing that they're actually trying to sell this for 500 euros. Oh, plus it cost me like another 100 and something euros import charge. And they don't even have a decent set of instructions. So I'm going to sort of try and work out what I can from the terrible instructions, and I'll let you know. So it already had that connected to it, but if yours doesn't, then if you lay it with the two chips on the top one has the double-ended connector on it. You fold that underneath like that. And what we're going to do is pull back those and flip that out. Now that is going to want to connect into that. Let's see if we can show that a bit better. So that is going to, that needs to open up like that. That pushes in. So you've got the pins along bottom, got the pins along there, so they have to mate together. Once it's pushed all the way in, close it down with the necessary force, and that is locked in place. The remaining one, that's been pushed forward, so that can go in, and then pull the black bar back. Right, so they are connected. Now we need to get this one. This side is for the backlight, so this side is for the touchscreen. Now this is where it gets confusing, because in the photos that he's got on his instructions, he's doing this. So you can't actually see which of these cables is supposed to go where. Now you get quite a few of these. And adapters, just to confuse you. Because these adapters have got one each end, that's fine, but then one on the bottom, which you don't actually need. You don't need to even use that one. Just need that one, because it goes straight through. All we're going to do is pull this one back. If you get the spare adapter on the top, facing that way, that needs to go in that way underneath. So if you spin it around that way, it goes in like that. Again, you've got the pins on the bottom of this, pins on under here, so they make together, and then fold that down. That's folded that way. So we need to take one of these ribbon cables, they're the same length by the look of it, and again need the connectors facing up if you're going that direction, because the pins are on there. So if you do it that way around, pins down, push it in, close it. Okay, get out the fucking way. Okay, now we've got the other one. Again, blue side up. Slides in there. And then push the black clip back. Just hold that in place. And this is where the guesswork comes in because of the terrible photograph. I suppose you could just take that out of the way, but I'm not going to. Now really, if that makes any sense, on here you've got one on the top, one on the bottom, both exactly the same. So nose up. This size says PML out, and it says car in. So I'm guessing this is a car, that goes in, so it needs to go, again, contacts up into the bottom part of that. Like so. Then means that that one comes over the top. So these wires aren't crossed over at all. That goes in there. And again, shut that down. So that should be, while we've got this bit, I don't know, maybe a new moustache or something, or that, don't know. So now we've got this. The only thing remaining to do, apart from firing about 300 cables into this here control box that's got far too many connections on it, is this one connects into the LVDS. Which way around is up to you. No, it's keyed, so it can only go in that way around. So if you look at the LVDS label, the red is on the right and the black is on the left. Now, you now have to try and rebuild the screen, make this look half sensible. All I can say is get the bits you can and plug in what you can, because that goes into that, and this has lots of things on it. V1 left, V3 front, V2 right, so nothing really makes any sense. So that's handy. There'll be antennas of some sort. But this is the most important part. That's the button you need to press to switch over to CarPlay mode. else we got now? We've got Renault power adapter cable. Right, we've got 2 main sets of cables. Now this one, it's got one of those on it. Let's see. It plugs in to there. And your standard stereo connections in your car. One plug in, one plug out, as normal. And this one plugs in like so. And now you've got lots of connections you don't really need. Really don't understand what they're for, to be honest. And this one's the really important one, because it's got the button that brings up the CarPlay. That goes in there. And these have got lots of connections on them. We've got manual ACC, V3 front, V1 left, V2 right, V4 reverse, keypad, which is the button, ACC out, and reverse in. Not a fucking clue. That one will be for the microphone, would be my best guess. Yeah, microphone. Speaker for some reason, probably haven't got that feature on it. Navi RGB, but not a clue. And that one hasn't even got any labels on it. Stare out. That's obviously the stare out. So as far as I can tell, literally you got to do is plug that into the car. Obviously you have to reconnect all this crap as well. And once you've done that and the car's turned on, press the button and it should go into CarPlay mode. So let's go and give that a go. Right, these dip switches do stuff. 7 and 8 are not used and are left in the up position apparently. First one, if you look, down is on, up is off. So the first one is, if it's down then it's RGB input enabled. If it's up, it's external RGB input disabled. So I'm guessing that should really be on. RGB input, I don't really know, to be honest. Next one is AV 1 and 2 input enabled, and then off is disabled. 4 is RGB input VGA resolution at 800 by 480. That's a suggested resolution. Because if you put it to off, it does 480 by 240, which is shit. Number 4 really should be the other direction, I think. 5 is AV4 video is selected when green wire goes to 12 volts. This is for aftermarket cameras. And if you've got the OEM camera, then put number 5 to off. And then 6 is set on once for infrared programming and to on 5 times for touchpad calibration. I don't understand you can set something on for 5 times, but I would just suggest leave it the fuck alone. So just leave that off. I think we're going to need to adjust a few of these, because there you go, pause it if you want to read that, because that makes little sense, much like the rest of these shitty fucking instructions. Right, this is what I'm going to try. RGB input enabled, because I can't see anything on this list here about RGB inputs. So I'm wondering if it's the input from this. So I'll leave it on just in case. I mean, if you're not using it, then you're not using it. AV1, AV2 I'm leaving off. This does say AV1, AV2 on there, which is, I'm imagining, is probably one of these. I'm not going to bother with that. 4 is the resolution, so that wants to be on for 800 by 480, which is the same as the panel that it's attached to. I've left 5 off because I've got the OEM reverse camera, but I'm not expecting that to work anyway. And 6 I've left off because that's what it recommends. Set to off for normal use. And then the other 7 and 8 are not used. So that is what I'm going to go with. We'll give it a go. Right, we're in the car. I will admit I've just spent 10 minutes looking for the rest of the stereo because I thought I took it apart. Actually, it's all still in there. So, this in here is a fucking mess. Right, so I've connected that end into the standard wiring and that into the back of that. Right, I've got to say, I don't know where they think that is going to fucking go, because there's so little room beyond there. I think you'd have to take most of this dashboard out to really plug it in down the back there. Okay, press the button. There you go. CarPlay. Please insert the phone. Right, gonna need a bit of lube, I think. I'm guessing then that it needs you to connect the phone via USB to that. Okay, for fuck's sake. Right, I found myself a little USB-A to Lightning. I'm not going to be able to film anymore on this. As soon as I plug it in, it's going to want to connect to the car, and I don't think it's going to film, so I'll have to move over to my iPad. Hang on a second. The phone has asked, allow CarPlay, allow. And there you go. That'll be easy to see. I mean, the resolution's pretty poor, but it's like 480. It's not the greatest. It's obviously a capacitive screen because the actual touch sensitivity is quite good. The instructions are still really shit. However, I contacted the seller and he pointed out the stair out needs to be plugged in there, which makes a lot of sense, I suppose. You need to go to Media, Auxiliary. Okay, so now when you press the button, obviously the phone's already plugged in. That comes up. Let's see if we can get something playing. Sweet. Yeah. Yeah.
Your life could change forever.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, there you go. It does work. I'm not quite sure where you're going to manage to put all of that, considering there's not really any room beyond there. So you'd have to take half the dashboard out and just post it all down the back, I think. But it does work. Do I recommend it? No. Yeah, €500 plus postage plus import fees. Do I recommend it? Definitely not. It's a lot of fanning around. It's just a bodge. And you've just got everything hanging around everywhere, and you've got to plug things in down there. You've got to plug your phone in every time you get into the car. Right, we're back on this monstrosity. I've not got the phone physically connected. I had a look through the website and it claims that it can do wireless CarPlay, which does make sense because it's got these antenna. So I thought I'd better update the video. But you know, if you click on CarPlay, obviously it says, please insert the phone. So I turned the Bluetooth on the phone, started looking through the menu on the stereo, but there was nothing obvious regarding Bluetooth. Because normally if there's a separate screen, there's usually dots, but nope, there you go, it's just badly designed. So Bluetooth is not connected. Device name, Carbox D167. Albert. Pair. Allow. Oh. Sign.
Your baby's skin needs to be treated with care. Nala's
Okay.
Baby is made with natural ingredients to wash and moisturize little cubs gently. They're covered from daytime to bedtime.
Yeah, the volume seems a bit weird.
Sensitive and dry skin.
It comes and goes.
Gold for best baby skincare range by Mother and Baby. Nala's Baby is dermatologically tested. tear-free,
Does this work?
vegan. Now available in the majority of larger Tesco stores and on nalasbaby.com.
Nala's Baby, full of
Yeah,
natural
let's assume
goodness.
Wakey, wakey! The hibernation's over, people.
It's strange, isn't it? The volume comes and goes.
What do you want to do?
Cancel, you prick.
The time sorted all week. Shop and save on hundreds of your favourite products at Iceland and the Food Warehouse. Find your local store at iceland.co.uk. For terms, see iceland.co.uk/terms.
Come on, let's play at mechabingo.com.
I'll have to mute it and I'll let you know. Strangely, it has problems with the volume or with the radio player. Didn't notice that before, but Spotify and Amazon Music seems to be fine. So I wonder if there's another radio app that you could use that doesn't do that. Right, I've tried a different app, Simple Radio, and the volume seems to work perfectly well. So it could be an issue with the other radio app that I was using. What that was called? Radio Player. Don't use Radio Player. Use Simple Radio. It's currently it's got a volume issue. Only issue now is obviously the shut up. Is the screen resolution, the ability to hide all of this crap behind there. This lead's got to be plugged into that to send the audio. But the main issue is that has been fixed is the fact it's wireless CarPlay, so that's alright. Would I buy it again? No. Am I selling this one? Probably. I would just recommend getting yourself a Pioneer, something or other. Just definitely not this. Does work, but it's not particularly good. I've been messing around with the dip switches on it, and I found previously when I was pressing the button, it was going over from this to that, and that's fine. Then when I was pressing it again, it was going to a black screen. And after messing around with the dip switches, when I press it again, it goes to another black screen. Then I press it again, nothing. Well, still something there. Then press it again. So I think that's what the inputs are for. So I think if I change those dip switches, I've changed them all to off. It should be that when I press that, it should go from one straight back to the other one. Okay, that's that sorted. Although now I've changed it to a lower resolution, it looks even fucking worse.